Hi, and welcome to Perpetual Fitness Training. My name is Holly, and thank you so much for joining me for my very first senior series. So today we're going to work on functional fitness. And the reason I wanted to start with this one is because in that everyday world that we live in, that kind of tends to be the place where people get hurt. It's not necessarily in the gym or working out with a personal trainer because someone's there making sure that your form is good, or you're just kind of in that zone that your form, you work on that form. But out in the daily world, when you're lifting something out of the trunk of your car, or you're reaching down for something or something off the shelf, we generally do not watch our form, and that is when injuries tend to happen. So I really wanted to focus on showing you the proper way to do your daily activities. So the equipment that you may need, you do need a step. I have this fancy step from, Step Aerobic Days. I like this one because it has the different risers that I can then adjust as I need to, but you do not need anything this fancy. It can be a step stool, it can be a step ladder, any kind of surface that's off the ground. Just please make sure it's stable. Of course, no wheels on the bottom of your surface. You do need a pair of weights, and I want you to think you can have a variety, but it needs to be something that you would do in your daily life. So if you're used to lifting something heavier out of the trunk of a car, then I want you to have some heavier weights or something that you have that will represent that load, because I'm going to show you and teach you how to do those daily activities, but keeping that form as good as possible so that we can hopefully prevent injuries. I do have a mat. You only need a mat really if you don't have carpeted flooring. We will be getting on the floor and getting back up because you do have to know and learn how to get off the floor, which sounds kind of common sensey, but you'll be surprised at how many people in the senior range actually do not like to get on the floor because they cannot get back up very easily. So we're going to work on that. I also want you to have some water nearby. Please take those water breaks anytime you need them. As a matter of fact, you take breaks anytime you need it. You just hit pause and give yourself a little break. I give you that permission to do that. Today, each move that we're going to do is 60 seconds in length. We will have a 15-second break, but we are going to go through the moves twice. So please make sure that you're ready for this, that you've warmed up. There is no warm-up in this particular video, so please warm up for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a couple laps around your block, a warm-up video, something like that, so that you're not coming in cold. So once you're ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's get all the legal stuff out of the way and we can get going. All right, welcome back. Now that you have all your stuff assembled and we're ready to go, I will preview the move for you so that you can kind of see what's coming, and then I'll talk you through it the whole time that we're doing it. This is meant to be a 30-minute workout, but be aware that sometimes it'll take maybe a little bit longer because of the talking in between. So just know it may go a little bit over that 30-minute time. So we're going to go ahead and start. The first one is a floor reach or a squat, and then we're going to stand and rotate one side, and then we're going to squat, and then we're going to rotate the other side. So this is obviously mimicking anything that you're going to pick up off the floor and turn in place on a table or something right next to you. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the proper form. Go ahead and grab the weight. These can be 2 weights or it can be 1 weight. That is completely up to you. I don't want you to feel like you have to go super heavy. You can start light. I would recommend that, especially if you're a beginner to working out. There's no reason to go in crazy with super heavy weights. You're just going to hate me tomorrow and you're going to be sore for days and days. So do think about, what do I do in my daily life? How heavy things do I lift? And maybe just 1 weight is a great way to start. So for this first one on the first round, I'm only going to show you with 1 weight. The second round, I'll show you then with the 2 weights. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with this first one. So feet are hip width apart, toes are pointing forward, and they're lined up with the heels. We are going to squat like we're reaching to the floor, and then we're going to twist. Squat, twist the other way. So in a squat, you want to be back in the heels. I want you to imagine that you're trying to sit back in a chair, and you're touching your booty down to that chair. Now in that twist, think about keeping the hip bones forward and just using the muscles right around the belly button to twist. You're not leading with the shoulder. It's all in the belly. So it doesn't have to be this big, huge movement, right? Watch what I do. I'm really not going very far. I'm thinking about engaging those muscles. I'm keeping the weight near my body and just reaching as far as I can down toward the floor. So just imagine you're picking something up off the floor and you're turning to place it on a table. Last one right here. All right, we're going to take that 15-second break. I want you to take this opportunity to grab some water if you need it. Shake it out. Nice and easy. For the second round, I'm going to show you with 2 weights. It's really no different. Feet hip width. Round 2, here we go. So we have something on the floor. We're picking it up. We're keeping it close to the body as then we turn to place it on a table. Really think about wringing out your core, not using those shoulders. That's probably the number one thing I see, is either twisting and lifting that heel or using the shoulders instead of using your belly. We're strengthening through that core, making all of those muscles that control twist a little bit stronger. Maybe turn some on that haven't been on in a while. Exhale as you twist. Nice flat back. So I don't want you to get low by rounding the back. This is in the legs, and then we're twisting. It's in the legs, and then we're twisting. Let the legs do the work. Last one right here. Excellent. Okay, weight's going to go ahead and come on down. So next we're going to use the step. And what we're going to do is, this is called a waiter carry. So just imagine you have a tray of something in your hands and you have to go up the steps, okay? So tray in the hands, going up the steps, coming back down those steps. Keeping it at 90 degrees the whole time. So we're working on that endurance through those arm muscles. You're pulling back the shoulder blades so that we're working through that upper back strength. And of course, then those legs are going to be involved as well, working multiple muscle groups at once. So go ahead and grab the weight, shoulder blades down, elbows next to the body. We're going to go ahead and step up, come back down. We're switching the foot. Please make sure that your foot lands in the center of that step. "90 degrees. You can hold the weight or your hand can be flat. Breathe. If this is really, really easy, we'll use 2 weights in the next round, or you can take the arm away from the body, the elbows away from the body. But please make sure that your form doesn't change. Squeezing those blades together, lifting up through the heart. Just think about opening through those collarbones, always watching where you step before you step. Heel, press up through the heel. All right, we have one more. Excellent. Little break, 15 seconds. It's not very long, but it's long enough to grab a little swig of water, bring that heart rate down just a little bit. All right, 90 degrees. 2 weights this time. If you're using 2, if that's too much, drop the weight. Go back to 1. Opening through the collarbone, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Breathe through it. Especially as that heart rate starts to come up, your breath is very important. Push up through the heel when you step. Very good. Keep going. Try not to death grip the weight. Just imagine you have a platter in your hands or a tray of something. Breathe in, breathe in. We have about 10 seconds left. You can do this. Stay with me. And done. Weight down. Shake it out. Whew. Excellent. Okay, next one. This is a diagonal lunge forward. We're going to pick up the weight And then we're going to take it overhead. Okay, so imagine grandkids left something on the floor that we have to pick up, and then we're going to put it up on a shelf out of reach. Okay, so reaching for the floor, reaching overhead. It's very important when you reach to the floor that we are not using our back. This is a leg workout. Your chest should stay high, and then you reach to pick the thing up off the floor. You can also use a step. So if the image of putting something on the floor is just too much for you, it just makes you want to round your back to reach down to it, try something a little higher. Okay, just imagine you're putting something down on the shelf or on that step before then you put it up on that shelf. Okay, so that's a way to use that imagery to your benefit. I really don't want you to pick with your back. That's one of the number one mistakes that we see in daily living, is the rounding of the back to pick something heavy up off the floor, okay? So we definitely want to try to avoid that move. Instead, we want to keep that back nice and flat. All right, so it is at a diagonal, 45 degrees. Picking that item up off the floor, shoulder blades down as we put it up on a shelf. Picking that item off the floor, up on the shelf. When we come down into that lunge, we are making sure that the knee stays bent over the ankle. It does not go over the toe. So a nice big step will help with that. Nice flat back, tummy's tight. Bring it all the way up. Perfect. Reach down. Those abs are tight, always tight when we're doing any lifting of any kind, right? They're our support, our foundation to take anything over the head, or really to pick up anything off the floor, right? It's stabilizing. It's very important. Here we go. All right, y'all, we have one more. Perfect. We're going to just take a little break. We're going to shake it out. We're going to do the same side. If you want to go heavier, you can, or you can pick up that second weight. So lots of room. Make sure you have room. Big step, sink down, flat back. Now we're putting it up on the shelf. Shoulder blades stay down. You're really thinking about that upper body as we're placing the item up on the shelf. Very nice. Good. Reach down. Place up on the shelf. Flat back. Let the legs do the work. The muscles are big. They can get strong. Let them do the work. Not your back. Save your back. Perfect. If you have a mirror that you can do this in front of, it really would be the most ideal situation. Understand that's not possible for everyone, but really look at yourself in the mirror if you can, and you'll notice if you're rounding that spine. Take a little break, shake it out, water if you need it, and then we're going to move on to that other side. Now, anytime we work legs, it's a big muscle group. It does get your heart rate up. That's not a bad thing, but it may just mean that you need to pause. Hit pause on me right now and take a little bit of break, a longer break, so that you can bring that heart rate down. Whatever you need to do, you do it. You know your body. All right. So now we're going to do that other round, and we're going to move now to that other side. So whatever leg you started with, we're doing that opposite leg. I'm going to start with one weight. Here we go. So reaching down, flat back, putting it up on that shelf. Reaching down with that nice flat back. Ooh, perfect. When you push off, we're pushing through that heel to come back. We're not lifting the weight overhead until we're set. Don't worry if you are taking longer to go through this move. It's not a contest. It's not a race. You have to work within your limitations and what your body will let you do. The more strength you have and the more you do these moves, then the easier and faster this will get. Nice flat back. My abs are tight. My shoulders are down as I'm reaching overhead. 10 seconds. And take a little break. Water if you need it. Just shake it out. Keep your head above your heart. You can keep moving if you like, or you can just stand still. I'm not very good at standing still. I remember getting in trouble for that a lot as a child. All right, here we go. Always wiggling. Take it up. And reach it down. And take it up. Nice flat back, tummy's tight, shoulder blades down as we lift it overhead. Good. Good, abs in. When we push off from that lunge, we're using the heel to push up. You're lining up the back of that leg. We're working quads, hamstrings, glutes, core, upper body. It's a great full body move. We have about 15 seconds left, so try to stay with me. Oh, I was supposed to do 2 weights, wasn't I? Uh-oh. I'm going to be uneven on this side. So 2 weights if you're using 2 weights. I'm so sorry. Last one. And we are finished. All right. Water if you need it. All right. Next up. Okay. So we are going to take something from a high shelf, and we are going to put it either on the floor or on the step. All right. So taking something off the high shelf, putting it on the floor or on the step. Step if you can't reach the floor with your legs, right? Remember, we're not reaching the floor with our upper body. We're reaching the floor with our legs and then letting the upper body finish that last little bit. We don't want the back to be doing the heavy lifting. Think legs, okay? And then something heavy that you're pulling off the shelf, we bring it and hold it into that chest. This is a nice, safe place to hold anything heavy. Keep it close to the body instead of away from the body, which is a lot more difficult and can cause more issues with the body. So really trying to bring it in because we're trying to prevent those injuries. I don't know if that that made sense whatsoever. Okay. So we're going to start with those feet hip width. I'm going to turn sideways for you. So something off the shelf that we're putting on the floor or on the step. We're picking it back up, putting it back on the shelf. Reach up, pull it off the shelf, and down to the floor. Pick it up, put it back on the shelf, hands come back to the chest. Repeat. Reach up, putting it on the floor, taking it off the floor, putting it back on the shelf, hands to the chest. Reach up, slowly bring it to the chest, all the way to the floor. Pick it up, back on the chest, come down into that start position. Reach up, slowly down, and squat. And pick it up, and over. Bring it back to the chest. Take it up, bring it to the chest, slowly down, place it on your step or your floor. Pick it back up, press it back up, bring it to the chest and hold, take a little break. Perfect. All right, so the next one, I'll try to remember 2. I'll show you with 2 weights. So remember, you can have that step as high as you'd like. You get to adjust that based on your mobility. All right, here we go. So we have it up on the shelf. We're bringing it off the shelf. We're squatting down and we're placing it on the floor or on our step. We're taking it up, bringing it to the body, taking it back to the shelf, bring the arms back to the center. Reach up, slowly back down. Take it to the floor or to your step. Pick it back up, bring it back in, all the way up, and then bring it back to the body. Reach out, slowly back in. Keep it close to the body as you drop it down. Pick it back up. Of course, you're in those heels for that squat. Slowly bring it down. You can have the feet wider if that's more comfortable. Squeeze those glutes. All the way up. Slowly down to the floor. This is your last one. Pick it up. Bring it into the body, and you're done. Grab some water, please. And let me show you the next one. Okay, so this one I want you to imagine that you're in a parking lot, and you've gone to a store, and you're coming back out of the store, and you're going back to your car. And as you step off, someone zooms by you, right? Lots of crazy drivers out there nowadays. Zooms by you, isn't paying any attention, and you have to jump back. So we're going to practice that weight transfer and the hop back so that you have that balance. So if that ever happens to you, that your body already knows how to compensate and how to balance you. So this works on balance and it works on dexterity. Do the best you can with it. If you cannot hop, don't worry about it. It's about transferring the weight. It's not about an actual big hop, right? It's about moving the weight from one foot to the other. You get to choose one way, because then on the second round, we're going to go with the other foot. So I'm going to start with my left, and then I'm going to change them to right. So we're going to start left foot forward, stepping off the curb, and then, woo, somebody comes by. Stepping off the curb, boom, you got to jump out of the way. Back and forth. And I want you to hold here and find that stability before you come forward and come back. Those abs are nice and tight. Don't worry if you're all wobbly here, right? I don't want you to fall, though, so if you need to, be near a wall, but don't rely on the wall. The wall is there to catch us. It's not there to hold us up. Good. Stepping down. Woo! Dodging that crazy driver. Stepping down. Dodging that crazy driver. When you land back, notice how my knee is soft, right? Absorbing that impact from suddenly coming back. And it's okay to wiggle, to hold and to wiggle. That's all right. And if you fall, it's okay. Well, if you stumble, please don't fall. But if you stumble, that you're not perfect at it, it's okay. And done. A little shake. Not too bad. That one really is more about just teaching our reaction to something like that happening. And these yoga pants are rolling. They're driving me crazy. All right, here we go. So stepping off the curb, coming all the way back. Stepping up the curb, coming all the way back. Holding that balance, soft knee that we're landing on. The hands can be wherever. All right, it doesn't matter what you look like. We want to work on that balance. We want to work on that stability. As you become more stable, then the arms will become more central. That reaction time will be faster. Listen to your body, please. If anything hurts, you need to stop. But you could feel burning. Burning is okay. Pain is not. We have about 15 seconds left. Remember, that wall is there to catch us, not to hold us. Use the muscle. Tummy's tight. Last one. Perfect. All right. Shake it out. Water if you need it. I'm going to move my timer again because we're going to go back to a step. So we're going to use what's called a farmer's carry. So a farmer's carry means you have weight in each hand. And when you do this, you're going to step up onto the step, holding that heavy weight, and then we're bringing the opposite knee up. So what we're mimicking is that we are going upstairs. Because when you move upstairs, that opposite knee comes up when that foot is down. So we're going to mimic that because we don't have a staircase, obviously, to use. But I want you to just imagine you have your hands, you have grocery bags, suitcases, whatever you would have in your hands, and you have to go up the stairs with those in your hands, okay? Alrighty, so this time we are using 2 weights. I do want a weight on each side, please. All right, here we go. We're going to look where we're stepping. We're stepping up with the right. We are lifting that left knee. And then we're coming back down, stepping up with the right, left knee up. Tummy is tight. Now, if you need to, step up, toe down, find your balance, knee up, back down. Making sure that foot is in the center. If your step is too high, you can choose a level that is lower. The higher, the harder it is. The more work you'll be doing. Now, Your back is nice and flat, your tummy is tight, and we're really working on that balance. That stabilizing leg is not all the way straight. It does have a little tiny bend to it. And when we come up, we're pushing through that heel. So foot down, push through the heel to lift that other knee up, using the core. The tummy is tight. Now those shoulders are down away from your ears. You're making that collarbone shine. Take a break. So you're not rounding. We're here. We're nice and open. We're squeezing those shoulder blades together, working on that strength in the upper back. We are going to go back to the same leg with the knee coming up. All right, so right foot, knee up, and down. Same leg. Press through that heel. Find the balance before you bring that knee up. In control. Again, that wall can be near you to catch you, but you are not relying on that wall. Good. Keep that control. Think about the control from the time you step up to the time you release that left foot behind you. And we're done. All right, weights down. Drink if you need it. Catch your breath for just a moment. And now we're going to do the same thing to that other side. Same weight, please. We got to keep those legs even. All right, if you're ready, let's go. If not, just pause it and begin when you're ready. All right, so now it's the left leg up, right knee. Slowly back down. Something in each hand. And remember, if this step is too high, find a lower level that'll work for you, and then work toward that higher level. Depending on your mobility will really depend on the height of this step. Shoulders down. Show off that collarbone. Back down nice and controlled. Step up in the center, lift up. Back down in control. Keeping those abs nice and tight. Think about the abs lifting that knee. Not rounding in the back at all. Last one. And now we take a break. Water if you need it. All right. Let's go ahead and grab those weights again. Whew. Lining up, shoulders down, opening up through that collarbone. Left, whoop, right knee. Perfect. Take your time. You don't want to lift that knee until you are stable. So if you need to, just take a little bit more time in between. That's okay. All right, we all have to start somewhere. So don't feel bad if you can't just go straight into that knee up. It's all right. We're working through that balance. Balance is muscle strength in those joints, as well as that mind-body connection, getting that brain to work through that balance as well. So it takes some time. Be patient. Knee up, back down, and up, back down. Last one. All right, perfect. Weights down. Water if you would like some. All right, next up, so we just did the firmer carry. Okay, so we are going to imagine that it's Thanksgiving, and we are in charge of cooking the big, heavy turkey, right? So my turkey today is only 8 pounds. But the imagery is what I want you to capture. So we're going to be taking the turkey out of the oven and putting it back in the oven. Okay? So we're taking it out, putting it on the counter, testing the temperature. It's not done yet, so we got to pick it up. We got to put it back in the oven. All right? So what it's going to look like is we have a low oven. It's not one of those fancy ones that are on the wall, right? This is one of the low ovens. So we are low. We're reaching out. We're bringing it back in. We're standing up. That's it. All right? But, that's kind of one of those daily moves that we do a lot of that we don't think about that usually happens like this, usually in this position. So I want to show you how to do it the proper way. We will be using one weight. You can progress up to the 2 weights, which I'll show in that second round. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start sideways just so that you can see my form. Feet are hip width apart or slightly wider. Your weight is in the center. You're going to squat down. We're going to reach out. We're going to pull the turkey to our body. We're going to stand up. Squat, reach, pull, stand up. So I want you to notice how flat my back remains. None of this is happening in my back, right? My lats are doing the pulling back, and my upper back and my mid back. All those muscles in my back are working for the turkey. But in the squat, it's all in my legs. I'm squatting down, staying in the heels, reaching out, pulling it in, standing up. When I stand up, think about squeezing through the glutes, pushing through those heels, reaching out, pulling in, bringing it up. Last one. And stand. All right, give it a little shake. There's a lot of checking the temperatures. We're not finished yet. If you want to do 2 weights, you may, or you can just stay with the 1 weight. All right. So this one will be a palm up reach if you're using 2 weights. So we're down. We're checking the turkey, bringing it in, standing up. Down, reach, in, and up. Now notice when I reach out, your weight, hopefully, tends to go into the heels. That's where I want you. Pulling or pushing the weight into the heels as your arms go out. It kind of happens naturally for most of us, but just be aware the weight is in the heels and that's where I want it. So if it's not going in the heels, when you reach those arms out, think about pushing the weight back in the heels. A nice counterbalance. Shoulder blades down. Reach out, pull it in. Nice and secure against that chest. Right? Keeping that heavy weight close to the body. 10 seconds. Last one. And release. All right. Finally, that turkey is done. Take a little break, shake it out, catch your breath. That one should have gotten your heart rate up just a little bit. All right. Next up, we have a single leg deadlift. And the reason I wanted to do this one is I actually see this a lot out and about. You just have something on the floor, you reach down, pick it up, and bring it back up. Okay? I do that often as I see, cat hair. I have 2 long hair cats, so cat hair on the floor. Something my kids dropped, didn't pick up in the kitchen. I do it a lot. So knowing how to do it the right way, I think is important. And it's not bad to do anyway, even if this is something you don't do on your everyday activity. So you have 2 options. You can have the weight on the step, or that's the height that you're going down to. We're not actually going to release the weight. Or you can have the weight all the way to the floor or anything in between. You get to decide. The key is the back doesn't round. So when we do this, this is not a back rounding position. This is a nice flat back position. You are welcome to keep that back leg down and to not lift it off the floor. That is fine as well. I will probably do that for the first round, and then I'll show you the kick with the second round. I am only going to use 1 weight here because we only are using 1 hand. So we're not going to do 2 weights. So you get to kind of pick the weight that you want. If this is a very new move for you, you may even consider no weight whatsoever. All right, let's go ahead and start. So we're just imagining our thing on the floor. This round, I'm keeping the back leg down. Nice flat back. We're picking it up, coming back up with it. All right, so maybe it's on a step, Just imagining as low as you can to get it down there. The nice thing about this move is it's a great hamstring stretch. You'll feel that in the leg that's in the front. When you kick back, your booty goes back and your back stays flat. So let the legs do the work. Press down. You have a soft bend in that front knee. It is not locked in straight. Soft bend in the knee. Come all the way up. We're also working through that low back here, making it stronger. Keep that tummy nice and tight. Make those shoulder blade or those collarbones shine. Show them off. Down and up. 4, 3, 2, and release. All right, shake that one out. We are going to stay with that same leg. Usually on the second round, you find that you can go a little deeper because we stretched so much through that first round. So on this one, I am going to let this back leg kick up. I like to take my other hand behind my back. It just helps me to stay square so that I'm not rotating. Down to the floor or to your step, pick it up. Let the legs bring you down. It reminds me of one of those birds that used to tip down into the water, the little dipping birds, and then it would just slowly come back up. It's kind of the move you're doing. So don't worry if you're trying to get it to touch the floor or touch your step. That's not the point. The point is the move. So don't round the back to reach down to the floor or to reach down to your step. Just work through the move. Trying to keep those shoulders and those hips pointing at the floor so we're not rotating open before we come back up. Abs are nice and tight. One more. And release, shake it out. Okay, we're going to just go right into that next side. So go ahead and transfer that weight. So for this first one, change legs. I'm going to keep that back leg back. Nice flat back. My opposite arm is behind my back. Ooh, this side is so much tighter. Come on down and up. Spend just a moment down. Just hold it here. Tummy's tight. And then slowly come back up. We just get a little bit more of a little stretch before we come up. Little tiny bend in that front knee so we're not locked out. We want the blood to flow. Keeping the shoulders and the hips forward. When we come up, we're squeezing the glutes. We're pushing through that front heel. We're showing off our collarbones. Shoulder blades stay down. All right, give me one more. And a little break. So this time I will take that back leg off the floor. Don't feel like you have to. If that leg staying on the floor works for you, then keep it on the floor. I think I had the heel down. That's fine. But you can also just have toe down. It's really more about just learning that move, that hip flexion. All right, so right here. Coming down, nice flat back. Squeezing back up. Down. Squeezing back up. And so on this side, I really am significantly tighter today on this side. So I'm just taking it a little easy. I'm not going too low. And the last side I could go a lot further. Maybe I'll get there. Maybe I won't. I'm going to let my body tell me what it's okay doing today. Another great way to prevent injury, by the way, listening to your body. Reaching out through the crown of the head, coming back up. Whew. Again, you can have that wall next to you. Don't worry if you wiggle and jiggle. It's okay. That's the body learning how to balance, strengthening the joints, the muscles, so that someday you'll be able to do it without being wiggly. Maybe, maybe not. I'm still wiggly. Give me one more. And come up. Oh, good. And shake it out. It definitely loosened up more toward the end there. Whew. All right, next up. So we're going to just imagine that we're taking something out of the trunk and placing it on the floor. Okay? So we have our item. We are pulling it out of the trunk, placing it on the ground. Whatever you want to imagine that is, whatever you're pulling out of the trunk on a daily basis, or that kind of same similar move. So again, I'm going to turn sideways because this is not a full squat. This really is more of a half squat. Most trunks are not super low to the ground, right? Most are about at your hip level. So to be able to come into it, you really don't need a huge bend in the knee. But we do want a little bit of a bend because we need to let the legs take some of the load. Then we're going to reach in and pull it up. We're going to rotate and place it out of the trunk. I was trying to imagine what I was having you imagine. All right, and that's it. So again, we'll start with 1 weight. You can always do 2 on that second round if you would like. So a little bit wider. I want you to be prepared for this really heavy item you're pulling out of the trunk. So it's a half bend. Reach, pull in, twist, let go. Bring it back to the chest, back to the center. Reach to the trunk, pull it out, rotate. We are rotating to the same side on this one. This one is the right side. Pull in, rotate, reach, pull it back in, put it back in the trunk, take it out of the trunk, rotate, take it to the floor, take it off the floor, rotate, put it back in the trunk, pull it out of the trunk, rotate, take it down, and keep with that. So, some things you might be feeling: low back. Okay, we're in this hip flexed position. If it's painful, then what I want you to do is in between, take it up. Come back down, pull it in, twist, release, pull it back in, take it up. All right, so that's a way to do this move if your low back is bothering you. Back to the center, release, and stand. All right, just give it a little shake, a little wiggle, a little break. So now when we twist, we're going to take it to the other side. So hopefully you'll be able to see me better because I was twisting away from you. All right, here we go. So it's a little half squat. Reach, pull the thing out of the trunk, twist, put it on the floor. Take it off the floor, put it back in the trunk. Your tummy is tight. It's doing a lot of work here. Your upper back is doing a lot of work here. I should say mid-back really is doing a lot of work here. But you have to keep those shoulders out of the ears. The shoulders are moving down the spine. We're in our heels, so the weight is back. We're letting the legs take some of this load. And down. And remember, if that low back is bothering you, when you're finished, you just come up and then you come back down. And that's okay. That's your modifier. Oh, I just realized I didn't grab that second weight. Oh well. That's probably best anyway, thinking about it, because we only did one way twisting. And if I would have had 2 weights on this side, I'd be uneven. That's not good. Release. Take it back to center and stand. Shake it out. Sometimes on paper it makes sense, and then when I do it, it doesn't make sense. So luckily I caught myself there. Okay. So the next one is, okay, we're going to get off the floor. Timing is actually excellent. So this is the one when we're going to work to get off the floor. So we're going to safely move our equipment. We want that nice flat back. So I'm just going to go ahead and just move my stuff out of the way so that I can roll out my mat, because I do not have carpeted flooring. But if you have a carpet, you don't necessarily need the mat. All right. So we're on the floor. We're on our stomachs. Coming all the way down, and we are going to get off the floor. So let me demonstrate. It's going to be a reverse push-up, which means pushing yourself off the ground. You can come back into tabletop. You can bring one leg forward, place your hand on that leg, and come on up. Just know that if you do it that way, you need to switch the leg every time. So if you come up the first time with the right leg, the second time you need to come up with the left leg. We got to keep that body balanced. If that does not work for you, another option is to go back into that tabletop, walk the hands back, curl the toes, and just walk those hands toward the feet and slowly roll back up. Either method is fine. I'm going to show the first method the first time and the second method the second time. All right, so let's go ahead and get down onto the floor. And it is something that we need to work on. I actually have a lot of seniors that come into the class when I first started teaching that didn't want to get on the floor because they didn't want to work so hard to get off the floor. It made them feel, I think, embarrassed that they couldn't get off the floor. They felt kind of foolish and felt they looked funny. And we just have to let that go, because it's very important that you can get off the floor. If you fall, or if you want to get down and play with grandkids or anything on the floor, you have to be able to get back up. So let's go ahead and practice that. Hopefully in the privacy of your own home. It does not matter. And I will show you how to do it. Okay, so hands are right next to the shoulders. Pull that tummy in. Big inhale, exhale, push with those hands so that you can come into tabletop. You can either curl back those toes, or you can bring one leg forward, hands to the thigh, curl the back toe, push off. And now we're just going to reverse it to get back onto the floor. Let your body be in control. So now we're going to go with the other leg. So push off the floor. Bring the foot forward, hands to the thigh, push off, stand up, reverse. Same exact thing. Knee down. Take it back onto the knees, tabletop, and elbows tight to the ribs as you come down. Push off. And you can take as much time as you need to between these moves. I am just demonstrating how to do it. So you may be a lot slower. Maybe you can only get 1 rep in. That's fine. As you keep practicing, you'll start to get more and more in. And done. All right, so that's the first time. So we're going to go ahead and come back down for the second one, all the way down onto your belly once again. This time I'm going to show the downward dog version, or the one where you're coming back and slowly rolling up. All right, here we go. Hands. This part's the same. Push it back, tabletop. Walk the hands back. Curl the toes. And then just keep pushing until you can rock back on those heels. The reverse to get back down. Push. Curl. So it takes a bit of upper body strength. It takes a bit of leg strength. It takes core strength. And it takes balance. You will get there. Just keep practicing. Find which one works better for you. In my class, it's probably split 50-50. Half of my seniors do it one way, half do it this way. Remember, don't worry about how many reps you're getting in. It's just about learning the move. All right, I have time for one more. Push, curl those toes back, and slowly come up. All right, congratulations. Thank you so much for doing our first senior class together, functional fitness. I would like it very much if you would stretch afterwards. In this particular video, I'm not going to go through the stretching with you. I wanted to try to keep it in kind of that half-hour block. So if you need stretching, I do have yoga on my website or on my YouTube. There's even ones where we do it all in the chair and you're never on the floor. So there's lots of opportunities to stretch nowadays on YouTube. If you just, Google even stretching videos, there may be some little 5 or 10 minute stretch that you can do afterwards. I do really encourage stretching to keep all those muscles healthy and moving and functioning as you need to. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I really appreciate you being here today, and you can hit like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.